The first bark shattered the glass of silence. People froze mid-step. A woman clutched her belly and whispered, "Make him stop." The polished floor mirrored sirens that hadn't yet arrived. The airport breathed like a glass-roofed city. Announcements echoed overhead. Strollers crossed paths with suitcases, and Mark, holding the leash firmly, felt Rex listening to what human senses couldn't. 4 years together had taught him to recognize when instinct turned into warning. Then came the woman, walking against the crowd. A mid-blue coat, sunglasses hiding more than light, 2 paper bags whose handles bore the marks of anxiety. The fabric over her stomach looked too tight, like it concealed something that shouldn't breathe. Rex stiffened. 1, 2 sniffs, and his focus locked on her. "Easy, buddy," Mark murmured, though his pulse betrayed him. A faint sound, metal brushing paper, came from one of her bags. A hand pressed her belly, not tenderly, but protectively. Seconds planted doubt. An agent signaled the protocol. She handed over her boarding pass with trembling porcelain fingers. Rex stepped forward. The deep bark drew phones and eyes. "I didn't do anything," she cried, but the panic felt rehearsed. Mark knelt beside Rex. The dog's muscles trembled, not with fear, but urgency. Memories of training flooded back, the cold dawns, the cones, the empty fields. Rex always found what no one else could. That memory made the decision for him. Secondary screening. She backed away, clutching the bags. "I'm pregnant," she pleaded, scanning faces for sympathy. A janitor watching from afar bit her lip. Her own daughter was 8 months along, and felt torn between compassion and fear. Tiny stories were forming all around, and Rex stood at the center, pointing to the unseen. Behind glass doors, a white room hummed under fluorescent light. As Agent spoke gently, Mark waited outside with Rex. The dog sniffed the air gap and whimpered, a sound he only made when danger was seconds away. The scanner showed baby clothes, a bottle, a teddy bear, but the bear glowed faintly under UV light. Powder, almost invisible. Mark swallowed his intuition. Inside, the woman trembled. "I don't feel well," she said. Sweat rolled down her temple. Time itself seemed to stall. Flash of memory. A foreign alley. A man in a suit saying, "It's simple." Photos of a child. The promise of money that solves problems but sells souls. That same face now wore panic. "Get the medical officer," Mark ordered. Rex met his eyes, amber judgment, and barked once. Inside, the woman doubled over, hands on her belly. The scream that followed wasn't from labor. Doors shut. The world held its breath. Rex tensed, as if he could bite through time itself to stop what was coming. Inside her, something had begun to count down, not as life, but as danger. The hallway swallowed the sound of pain. Paramedics burst through, cutting through the crowd. "Central Dispatch," one shouted. Mark followed, badge ready. Rex pulled hard on the leash. Every second mattered. Rain started outside. Inside the ambulance, chaos met focus. The woman gasped, "It's too soon. 7 months." Her voice all fear, part pain. Rex pressed his nose to the door, rigid, locked on the center of her body. Mark noticed a metallic patch on one of her bags, sewed inside the lining. Rex sniffed, barked sharply. "That's it." At the hospital, white walls made silence louder. The ultrasound showed not a heartbeat, but a metallic outline. Compartments, sharp edges. "That's not fetal tissue," the doctor muttered. Rex crouched at the doorway, every muscle poised. The woman's eyes met Mark's, filled with pain and something like regret. They said it was medicine, she whispered. Then the monitors screamed. "Or, now!" the doctor shouted. The red light above the door blinked to life. Rex lay flat, chest to the floor, keeping vigil. Mark tried to distract himself with procedure, chain of custody, transnational crime, evidence codes, but his mind returned to Rex's bark. It wasn't a hunt, it was a rescue. When the surgeon finally emerged, his eyes carried the weight of what he'd seen. "Not a pregnancy," he said. "A silicone mold of a womb attached to a timed device. It burst inside her. If your dog hadn't alerted when he did, she'd be gone." Mark crouched, hand resting on Rex's back. "You saved a life, partner." "And probably more than one," the doctor added. In recovery, the woman looked smaller without the fake belly. Fragile, but alive. "They promised money," she confessed softly. "Said if I refused, my child would pay. They use mothers, refugees, no one notices them." Mark didn't interrupt. Listening was part of saving. "Names," he said finally. "Today." She breathed deep. "Victor. He runs it through a fake medical courier company. 2 shipments today, Istanbul and Madrid. Handoff near the transfer gates. They call it the clean trade." Mark's tone shifted. "K9 Henderson to command. Red code. Intercept incoming flights from Istanbul and Madrid. Quiet lockdown." "K9 teams on standby." Rex stood ready, tail still. "You just gave a lot of people a second chance," Mark told her, "including yourself." Back at the airport, calm returned, or pretended to. Passengers scrolled on phones, unaware the air still hummed with tension. Rex moved like a compass, nose low, eyes scanning. The gates opened. Travelers poured in. Too many coats, too much hurry. Then Rex froze. Long gray coat, hand resting on the stomach in that same fake gesture. One low bark. Enough. "Controlled detainment, no panic," Mark said into his mic. Within seconds, agents surrounded the woman. The same silicone mold, the same compartments. Then Rex turned sharply. Another scent. A man in a suit, briefcase, unreadable gaze. Bark. Inside the case. Documents, IDs, a sat phone labeled Victor H. Mark exhaled. "Good work, partner." Rex tilted his head, tongue flicking once, then returned to scanning the air. Heroes like him don't wait for applause. They wait for the next trace of truth. That night, rain glazed the asphalt. The woman lived. Others would too. Victor now had a face and cuffs waiting. Mark sat beside the cruiser, tossed a treat. Rex caught it midair. "You saw what no one wanted to see," he said quietly, "and you chose to save before you judged." Rex rested his head on Mark's knee. Silence, but the kind that heals. Dawn came late that day. In the hospital, the woman who had pretended to carry life now carried courage. "They said it would help sick children," she murmured. "I wanted to believe." "And you did, until fear told you the truth," Mark replied. "The rest is what you do now." She met his eyes. "I'm not a good person." "You don't have to be good yet," he said. "Just honest. The rest follows." Name after name she spoke. Victor, the doctor who built the molds, the woman who trained couriers. Each one turned from shadow to evidence. By the end, she wept, and Mark just listened. Sometimes forgiveness starts with being heard. Days later, Hero K9 Saves Lives filled headlines. In court, the woman testified, trembling, not from fear, but from remembering. "He saved me before he arrested me," she said, eyes on Rex. "When he barked, I thought he was my enemy, but he was pulling me out of the fire I'd chosen. Silence filled the courtroom, the kind that feels like prayer. Outside, flashes burst. Mark smiled, not in pride, but in peace. "Ready for another, partner?" he said. Rex wagged his tail slowly. The world was safe, for now. At sunset, they sat by the patrol car. "You know," Mark said, scratching his ears, "we think justice means punishment. Sometimes, it just means helping someone find their way back." Rex laid his head on his knee. No sirens, no rush, just peace. Because in the end, every soul, human or not, just wants one thing: to find its way home. This story reminds us that true energy comes from within, the kind that renews us every day. If this story touched your heart, check the pinned comment to discover products that inspire renewal and balance. Leave a like and subscribe to join us in our next story.